What's up, everyone? I hope you're doing well. Since we don't have a lot going on in August, I want to do another quick video. I'm going to rank my top 5 comic book trilogies, and before we get started, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, but let's get right into it. Alright, so at my number 5 spot, this is going to be a hot take by me. It's the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. You know, I do enjoy all these films a lot, and I actually have fun going back to them because I think the third one is a lot of fun, but do I think it's a great movie overall? No, I don't think it's a great movie overall, but I still have a lot of fun with a lot of moments in it, especially the end fight and Harry Osborn scenes in here. And Tobey Maguire, he's just an all-time great Spider-Man. I think all three of them are great Spider-Mans. But, you know, I don't enjoy the third one as much as a lot of other people. I think there's a lot of missteps there because, like, all the villains that are in that movie, there's just too many villains. You know, I think you would have been better off just maybe doing it with Sandman and Venom. Or maybe just Venom by himself, because Venom would have been a cool villain just by himself. I just think there's too many villains in there. And also, I don't like the first entry as much as a lot of other people. I know a lot of people love the first one. They love it a lot. But I think it's just like a great movie, great origin. I don't love it like they do, but I do love the second one. The second one is an all-time favorite of mine, and I think it's just an amazing movie with how they did Doc Ock, how they did kind of like him going to his own as Spider-Man, how he lost his powers for a little bit, then gained them back. I thought that was awesome. I thought the way Sam Raimi directs him is also very authentic. And I like how it kind of like has an old feeling of it because they got released in like the early 2000s, the first ones. So I think those are great. Well, yeah, as I said, the third one doesn't hold up for me as well, but I still do like watching the whole trilogy. Like, sometimes I just put on the trilogy in one day, and I love to watch them all in one day. I think that's really fun. But number 4 on my list is the Captain America trilogy, our Marvel trilogy. I think no, this is not the best Marvel trilogy, but I think Winter Soldier is like a top 5, maybe top 10 comic book movie of all time for me. And Captain America is one of my favorite Marvel heroes. Iron Man did not end up on the list. That's a spoiler, but he didn't end up on the list because Iron Man 2 is not a good movie at all. I don't like Iron Man 2 at all. But I think all the Captain America movies are great. I think the first one's great. Even though I don't go back to the first one as much as the other two, I still think it has a lot of great moments in there, especially emotional moments with Cap and Peggy. In the second one, as I said, Winter Soldier, such a great movie. The Russo bros did so well taking over the character of Captain America and kind of making him like a really cool badass like character. And then Winter Soldier, such a cool villain. I think one of the best MCU villains that you had before he became a good guy. And Captain America Civil War, a lot of people have this as top 5 MCU. I don't love it as much as a lot of other people. Don't get me wrong. I think it is a great movie, but I don't love it. Like, I don't love it like that at that level, because I think there's some pacing issues with it that I'm just not with, and I think it's a little long. I think that there's just a lot of gray in that movie, especially in the airport battle. But the last 20 minutes is perfect in my opinion. I love the fight at the end when they're in like the bunker and you see Cap fighting Tony with Bucky's help. That is an all-time favorite scene of mine from the Marvel Universe. I gotta give Captain America his props. He has a great trilogy, and he also had a great send-off in Endgame, and I'm wondering, are they going to bring him back for Secret Wars? I wonder. That would be a really good moment. But that's my number 4. Number 3 is Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy. That is also a big hot take. I know I'm going to probably get a lot of hate for that, but man, I do love the home trilogy movies. That wasn't the first Spider-Man movie I saw in theaters. Was Amazing Spider-Man 2, but the first trilogy was all of Tom Holland's trilogy. I remember seeing Homecoming, Far From Home, and of course No Way Home, which is an unforgettable theater moment in my eyes. And I just have a lot of fun with his movies. You know, they're just really good, feel-good movies. I feel like you can just put them on whenever, and you can just have a lot of fun with these characters and the adventures that he's on, especially Far From Home. I'm a big Far From Home defender. It's in my top 10 MCU, I think, because it's just a fun adventure movie. Such a fun summer movie. I remember seeing it in theaters, like I said. Got released in June or July, and it was just such an awesome experience. And I think that the CGI, the villains of them are all great, because you have the Vulture from the first one. I think Michael Keaton is excellent. And the second one, you got Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal. And the third one, you got all the classic villains coming back. Like, if you don't love the third one, I don't know if I can talk to you. No Way Home is such an inspiring film, and you had so many awesome moments in that film. Sure, the pacing is a bit off in that first act, but I think the second and third act will really make up for it. And as I said, these are just such fun movies. I just put them on like whenever. Like, I put on Homecoming a lot because I think Homecoming is a great kind of like soft origin reboot for him. It's not really an origin since he's already Spider-Man in it, but he's kind of like becoming his own with Iron Man's help. And I think a lot of people don't like Iron Man helping him, but I actually found out that made him a little bit more mature. You know, Iron Man helping him out, him becoming his own in the final act with him lifting up those boulders at the end. I love that. And then you have the moment in Homecoming where he goes to Liz's house and then Michael Keaton is her dad. That was just a jaw-dropping moment when I saw it in theaters. I remember that moment a lot. But that's my number 3. Number 2 is the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan's epic superhero trilogy, his only superhero trilogy that he'll probably ever do. A lot of people were probably expecting this to be first, but you know, I don't think that The Dark Knight Rises is that amazing, or Batman Begins. Batman Begins is one of those films that I think is great, and I love the origin of it, but the villain I didn't really care about the villain. I wanted Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow to be the main villain. Liam Neeson is pretty good in it. I just did not care about his character or villain at all. I think it was Ra's al Ghul was a villain. I'm not really on the Al Ghul kind of like hype train. You know, you have Talia al Ghul in the third one. I don't care about those characters. I care about like the big main characters like Scarecrow, Bane, Joker, Clayface, Penguin. Those are all great to me. The Al Ghul characters aren't really what I like. I do like his origin with the Ra's al Ghul. I do like that. But when Ra's al Ghul came back in his house, I just didn't care. I absolutely loved in Begins where you have the Scarecrow sequences when everyone takes the serum and everyone just gets scared and you have those terrifying moments. Love that. And The Dark Knight, what do I got to say about The Dark Knight? It's like a top 5 comic book movie of all time for everyone. Great film. Dark Knight Rises, I have a lot of fun with Dark Knight Rises, not gonna lie. I think it's too long, but I love the rise, rebirth, and like revenge moments in that. So Dark Knight is my number 2. My number 1 comic book movie trilogy so far is Guardians of the Galaxy by James Gunn. You know, I was just kind of blown away by the first one when I first saw it. I think you have an epic band here of unlikely heroes like that join together to form this team of the Guardians. And no one really expected this movie to do so well. No one expected anyone to love it as much as they did. But James Gunn really brings his own directing style into it and own like kind of like funny style, kind of like silly style to these characters, which I do like. And he also brings his own emotional moments here. Like you have a lot of emotional moments in the first one, the second one with his dad, and then the third one with their overall group of characters. And I really do think that James Gunn has nailed like kind of the balance between humor, emotional moments, and kind of like hype moments with the soundtrack, because the soundtracks are just amazing. You know, I think every single one has an amazing soundtrack with songs that you can go back to after it's done, and they really have a lot more meaning after you go back to them. I love how he picks his soundtracks. And as I said, the characters, you grow to love them through the whole trilogy. The first one, you're like, kind of like not with it too much. Second one, the characters kind of like grow up and you grow up with them even more. In the third one, characters you just kind of like mourn for at some certain point. You know, they don't die, but you mourn for them when they almost die. That's the thing right there. And I think the third one really cemented it as my favorite comic book movie trilogy, because the third one became my favorite Marvel movie of all time, favorite MCU movie. It's just an epic tale, an epic end of trilogy kind of moment, and you have a great villain in there, great character moments, as I said. I think it's one of the most visually stunning Marvel movies. It looks fantastic. Like the visual effects, the set design, and the makeup in the third one are exquisite. And the second one has some great shots also, the cinematography of that one. And I think the Guardians trilogy also hits me well, because I think just a lot of the moments in the movie are just amazing. Like the whole third act of the first one is absolutely stunning when they all band together and they have the theme song. The second one, my favorite moments of that one is probably Yondu basically joining the Guardians, becoming his own, and basically killing all those people on his old ship. And then you had the end fight at that one on Ego's planet. I thought Ego's planet was beautiful how they made that. And then the third one, there's a lot of great moments, but No Sleep Till Brooklyn is probably one of the best fight scenes in the MCU. One of the better hallway fights. That scene just takes my breath away. And the whole ending sequences, whole ending, it's just amazing how they concluded it with the whole Guardians and then the new Guardians team and the trilogy. And Adam Warlock, I loved Adam Warlock. A lot of people didn't like him that much, but I loved him. So my favorite comic book movie of all time is the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. You know, I think that we're going to get a new favorite in here. Once Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, I think that'll be my favorite. But we'll do that. We'll do this video again when that comes out. But that's my favorite comic book movie trilogies of all time. Leave yours down in the comments down below. Make sure you like this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.